Of Eric Lindros in the future as a Philadelphia Flyer. Bill Clement had an opportunity last week on the Florida trip to sit down with Eric and chat about virtually everything that has to do with hockey. First question had to deal with that day that he knew he was a Flyer.
What were the first thoughts you had when you heard the word Flyers? What popped into your mind?
Orange. To be quite honest, it's just orange. We were sitting around and a couple of us were talking on the phone, and that was the first thing. Geez, you look good in orange. I know.
And then after that, how long was it between that first phone call and the realization that the whole deal was up in the air?
Well, we didn't have a TV or a satellite that we could watch the draft in the area that we were in, so we hopped in, about 5 or 6 of us, all my friends came up, and we hopped in a boat and went over to a buddy's place and watched this draft there. And I thought I was going to Chicago when Mike Keenan walked over to, the Nordique side.
Right.
But then, I mean, everything was going bizarre. I didn't know what was going on. So after the draft,
how difficult was that week? Was that worse than the entire year that led up to it?
Actually, it was quite enjoyable to see what happened. To see the outcome and how it was handled. I think it proved a lot.
Well, I would think that during the entire year last year, which was very difficult, that it was very important that you have a family that was very tightly knit, that was very close.
Whenever you have problems like that, and they're wide scale, they're highly publicized, I think that if you don't have a tight group, friends and family and other supporters, that you don't get through it. I mean, most parents would have split up. I mean, there was that much tension throughout our house, and it was just frustrating for all of us, and now it's just a walk in the park. It's great.
Your parents seem to be the type that, although you get most of the media attention, are pretty supportive of your brother Brett, who's playing junior hockey in Canada now, and your sister Robin, who you were saying has a number of activities herself that they try to follow.
Yeah, she goes. I guess the winter months are the boys and Robin. She skis during there, but the summer she does a lot of horseback riding and swimming, and we ship her off to camp and
Sure.
Yeah.
When you were growing up, one of the hockey players that you looked up to was Bobby Clarke.
Yeah, I think everyone did.
Well, when I look back and figured out when we won our second Stanley Cup in Philadelphia, you were 2 years old, so you were a big kid even then watching TV, were you?
Well, I remember watching an afternoon game. It was sort of weird. I remember sitting there with my dad, watching an afternoon game. He'd come home from, I don't know if he'd come home from work or something. We were just sitting there watching an afternoon game, and I saw the last game that the Flyers won, or one of the games in the Stanley Cup final, the second year they won. So, I mean, it's a small little thing that sort of sticks in your head, but I can remember the afternoon game.
Had you ever met Bobby Clarke before you became a Flyer?
I met Bobby Clarke, I think it was at St. Michael's Arena, and playing Junior B. I think he was there quite frequently to scout some of the other guys. I think he scouted Jeff Harding there. And others.
Was there a point at which you said, the NHL is for me? And the reason I ask that is that I think the sport chooses a lot of players as opposed to the players choosing the sport. You just play along, and then all of a sudden a scout scouts you, and you're playing junior or going to college hockey.
The system just sucks you in.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Did that happen to you, or did you say, this is what I want?
Well, I mean, you come out of Junior B, and you're told to make the decision at 16 whether you go college or whether you go Junior A. There's no in between.
Right.
So you decide which is best for you, and if you're going short term, I prefer Junior A. I mean, a lot of other players, great players. I mean, Roddy went to Michigan State and played college there, and everything works out. I just prefer Junior A for some weird reason. I don't know. I just went for it.
Well, it's worked so far. Right?
It worked so far. But as far as, going to the National Hockey League and choosing that, there's no other place to play, really. This is the best league. It's a lot of fun. It's where the best players are, and it's if we can fix up these rules a little bit, it's the best hockey.
I know that you have been quoted as saying that you haven't set any tangible goals for yourself. Is that still in place?
Yeah. I think that when you start looking at how many points you're going to get and how many goals you're going to get, you start. You just sometimes everyone's main goal is to win, and sometimes your main goal is sort of distorted. I think that if you just stick to a main goal, and if we can improve our number of points over last year, and battle in there for a playoff spot and take one over, I think that's going to be a great year. That's going to be a great accomplishment.
But is there a number that you have that would fit into the sentence, I will not be happy unless I score? In other words, is there a bottom mark of what you at least
you see what we can do. I mean, you step in there, every night you're not going to get one, or you're not going to get any, some points some nights, and that's secondary as long as you're winning, and if you can steal one on the road and say you got goosed up, no big deal. You got the 2 points, you're out of there, and it's good for the team. If you're doing other things other than getting the points, I think that you're helping out the team just as much. I think all people see, though, are the points.
Yeah, it's the most visible thing, obviously.
Yeah.
You said during training camp that when you're just about to hit somebody, you use the Top Gun analogy of getting somebody in your radar sights and then locking them in. And in training camp, if it's a veteran player and a guy that's going to be on your team, sometimes you tend in that last split second before you pull the trigger on the big hit to let up a little bit, which I think is rather common with guys that you're going to be playing with. Well, now that training camp is over and you're out there doing the real thing, you let them have it.
Well, it's still training camp, and guys are still trying to figure their way out.
But when you're against the other teams,
well, I think that when we get into some of our divisional rivalries, I think it really heats up a little bit, and I think it's part of the game. I think that it can be used in a number of different ways to really to get your team going. Sometimes to give yourself a little bit of space, and it's just fun. It gets your adrenaline out.
Let's talk about coaches for a moment. You played on 4 teams last year, so you are resident expert on teams and on coaches. Is it important for you to have a coach that simply allows you to go out there and do your thing, play the way you want to play?
Well, I think that, a coach is there to sort of leave you alone a little bit, but also there to bark at the right times. I mean, I'm just like everyone else. I need a kick in the butt, and I need to learn it. And a lot of times I'm not doing the proper things, or bearing down on the proper techniques, or using some of the little small plays that it's common knowledge. And sometimes you need a little swift kick to get you going, and it's good to have.
Another question, since you're the resident expert on playing on different teams, size up the Flyers for us. What do you think of the Flyers as a team?
Well,
so far?
I played on, went from that Summer Canada Cup to junior to Olympic. I mean, it's all different styles of hockey.
Sure.
So I think if you're sizing up our team, I think that we're going to be as good as we want to be. We've got a lot of right now we have a lot of injuries and a lot of illnesses and some things like that are hampering us a little bit in the preseason. But as soon as those come around, I think that we're going to be okay. I think we're a lot of fun. I wouldn't all be if you're an old Flyer fan and putting away that jersey for another year, I wouldn't be doing it.
Don't give up just yet, then.
Not now.
Yeah. Well, now let me ask you a question that isn't hockey-related. Nevertheless, it's one that at least the female viewers will be very anxious to hear the answer of. And that is there one girl out there that can say she is Eric Lindros' girlfriend?
No.
And at this point is where we graphically put up your phone number, do we, and flash it on the screen?
Just Rod's.
Rod Brindamore?
Rod Brindamore.
Okay, well, we'll decide if we can share that a little later. At this stage, you're still 19. Gosh, from the outside looking in, you've got just about everything that anybody would seem to want. Is that the way it is? Is there anything missing from your life right now?
For every good there is, there's give and take in life, and I think that, there's, you go to the rink, you just don't go home. There's always that extra little bit you have to do, and different people you have to meet with and things like that. I think that, with the sport I'm getting from the guys and, and from the management and the coaches, I think they're making it, pretty easy on me to get my job done. And of course, my job's to be there on the ice and to do my job there. But you know, if some of the other things off the ice are distracting from it, I mean, obviously they're helping out right now and getting the job done there too.